percent of the negative self-talk comes from, and the repetition and that controlling factor in our mind. And I don't even see the ego as something as bad. I see it as something that is desperate for our attention and feels like it has a duty to keep us safe, and it's doing a good job, but to the point where now it's making reasons why we need it, and now we need protection from the protection, which is reflected in our society with our system. It was there for protection.
Okay.
Now we need protection from that. Even the Pleiadians, they're another mere reflection of ourself in the future, of if we step into our potential, our infinite potential, then we'll have that reality probability manifested for us. So there's all these laid out for us, and it's really up to each one of us by the inner work that we do, and we're responsible because we are our own self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what humanity is, and they've been played.
Okay, and what is your view if, in other words, when the entities, I guess I want to say, when the entities come to you and they give you information, do you just accept it?
No, we have a conversation almost like I challenge them. I always like to challenge them and play with them. Because that seems to be what really stimulates them, coming about in touch with your inner child, and that creativity, and wanting to understand why they're bringing this about. Why are they sharing this? What is your intent behind it? And I've been able to filter right away ones that are trying to sway by how they make you feel about yourself and the world around you. Do you feel afraid and that you need to, protect yourself, or do you feel more liberated and more compassionate and loving?
Okay.
And that's how you can decipher through any message, whatever thing you're watching.
Okay. And are you finding that certain beings return to you more than once? Would you recognize them, or are you talking about a general, sort of heading, called spirit or guides or whatever?
I prefer to use that, even though, they are just facets of myself, you, everybody.
Right, but given that they are, if you want to look at it that way, in terms of, we can always look at the world in that terminology, but they still have individuality to some degree.
But I've never really focused on that. That never really interested me so much, because to me that seemed to be a bit of a distraction. I mean, if we're thinking about, we argue a lot about Jesus, whether he's real or not, and it really doesn't matter. It was the message that's the bigger picture. So that's always what I paid attention to. And I'm like, well, even Luke Skywalker, he's not real, but boy, does he inspire and reach a lot of people. So that was always the way I would get past all this things, that just to get right to the focal point for me.
Okay, so what did they tell you your mission was? Do you know?
It's when it doesn't really exist, when you can't, go out and find a place that says, this is just for Jessica, then it's a little bit challenging. So it was something that they said that I can create. I can create with the pieces of what I'm acquiring, how I see my perspective, to share that with the world. And that is, but don't just talk about it, like be it. And inspire people to find their own truth. Not to say, you need to believe what I believe because I'm right and everybody else is wrong, but to honor where each one is coming from and to trust themselves that they have those answers within, that we don't need to necessarily look and depend on other people for the answers, because that's kind of what got us into this mess in the first place, right? We're giving our power away to people or beings that don't necessarily have our best intention in mind. But even that, we should ask, why don't they? Where does that come from? What part of ourself that is so self-destructive that allows us to do this to ourselves?
Okay, well, if you were going to talk about the future, and, a lot of people are talking about 2012, as you know, and what may be going on in the future. Have you been given any visions or dreams of the future, or any information about it from the beings that are contacting you?
Definitely, a lot. I always like to dispense this end of the world kind of a thing, but I can understand why people see or perceiving it as the end of the world, because it's the end of an old way of living, being, and thinking that has been around for quite some time. So to a lot of people who don't have imagination, who can't see beyond that, then to them it's the end. But in actuality, it is something far beyond that we've ever dreamed. And in a sense, the best way to understand it is, truth is stranger than fiction. And we are going to experience that firsthand with these paranormal events, which aren't even paranormal at all. It's just a bleed through of who we actually are coming out in all kinds of different ways. Is going to be more and more frequent. And people are going to start just recognizing each other. And a war cannot continue because if I harm you, right away I'm going to feel that pain. So say I punched you in the shoulder, I'm going to feel it right away in my shoulder. And it's going to freak people out at first because we've never really been, nobody's really taught this to us in school. It's kind of hush-hush, it's taboo in the world. It's starting to come back, humanity, in their state of amnesia for such a long time. And now just awakening to what we've always known. And it's very quantum, it's very multidimensional, it's memories not just of past lives, but future lives, multidimensional lives, interdimensional lives, lives in between lives. We'll be able to grasp that and understand that. Right now what's happening is it's stepping stones that's leading us there, and you can't get attached or box yourself into one belief. There are no limits, just beliefs. So you always got to expand on that.
Okay, so when you say past lives, future lives, etc., have you been given a vision of your own past lives, future lives? Or are you saying that this is something that you think is going to be revealed to you eventually?
I don't have very many past lives per se because I've not been human on this planet. Mainly I've been a guide working on the etheric. So I am here to help people understand their guides and the mechanics of how they work and all the ways they're trying to get through to us and relay their message. And so that's my past lives. I've had one in Atlantis and one in France, so not very many. So it is very bizarre to be in a human body and just getting used to the physical and the matter kind of thing. But we're a huge honor to be in the physical form on Earth at this time. And I've been taken and I've seen this lineup of souls that I just can't wait to be here on Earth at this time. And that's actually why the planet is overpopulated. It's because of the excitement from all the souls. This planet is like a Harvard University for creators in training. And it's one of the greatest honors to be in physical form during this time because it's the merge of spirit and matter working together and going and having these kind of experiences because it's very different. I mean, I can speak about this other side. I can explain to you how they interpret us. It's almost like we are a reality show to them. And what we do affects them as well. It's like a huge ripple effect. It's all a microcosm of a macrocosm as we step into that.
Okay, so can you talk about specific events in the future, or is it completely unwritten in your view?
It's not necessarily specific events because it's on the collective term, but whenever I think about it or tap into it, I just see a very different world from here. I see people more connecting with nature, understanding the wisdom that's there, that it's never lied to you, nature, and it never will, because it has no gain to take power over. It has no desire to do anything like that. It just gives abundantly. And we will discover ourselves through that. And it's just going to be nothing but beauty, to be honest. There's no doom or gloom or fear or anything like that. And call yourself on that and ask yourself why. Why are you getting that? Where is that coming from? Is that you or is that an outside influence?
Okay, and if there was something you could tell people that, because we've spent almost an hour with you here and we're going to kind of wrap this up. But if there's something you could tell people that you feel that maybe hasn't been said so far, what would that be?
Be aware of what you're projecting out into the world constantly be aware of your thoughts and be gentle and kinder to yourself.